Welcome to the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 30 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week.
All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. I'm here with Nata Salvatori. She is the founder and CEO of Accidental CEO, and today we're going to be talking about high standards, human pace, and a founder's reset. So I'm really excited to dive into that topic with you. But Nata, before we do, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got you here today.
Yes, thanks for having me, Kevin. So
Of course.
I am a business coach, scaling coach, and I also do some fractional CEO work, multi-business owner myself. So I have businesses in the wedding industry, which is why we're here today.
Of
So
course.
I can definitely talk to the wedding industry peeps out there. And it just really been working in the last few years to help people understand this concept of high standards, human pace, in the sense of at some point we need to stop doing everything in our business and it's time to delegate, right? And we all struggle with that. So just trying to help my clients and everybody that I can reach out there understand what this process looks like and why do we struggle with it so much.
Yeah, I love it. All right. And then can you give us like a quick version of who you help and what led you to create Accidental CEO?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with already established founders, so people who have a business.
Okay.
Actually, in different industries, I've worked with people in all kinds of industries. I have obviously a lot of background experience in the wedding industry, but if you already have a business, you're making money, clients are coming in, but truthfully, on the back end, things are duct taped.
Yeah.
There's not good processes in place, and you feel like you're constantly trying to hold everything together. There is no truly going on vacation and unplugging from the business. Those are the people that I help. Is really trying to help people understand the identity shift that it takes to go from a founder to an actual CEO, and all the structure that your business also needing combination of that. It's truly a combination of identity and structure and operations that I feel like you can't find very often out there. Like usually people focus on one or the other, and my work is an intersection of those two. So
Well, and it's kind of interesting too, because I feel like so many of us in the wedding industry, that's what we struggle with. We can't shut it off even at night, or we can't shut it off, like even on vacation, like there's
yeah.
no shut off, and it's extremely difficult. I know I went on a cruise this last year with my family and I shut it off. I didn't buy the Wi-Fi on the cruise ship and I was like, I'm done and I'm not going to look and I'm not going to peek. And then the few times that we got cell service, I'm like, I'm still not going to peek. I'm like, because I told my staff I was going to, going to shut it off and I'm going to do it and let's see what happens when I get back. But it was the hardest thing I ever done. So.
Oh, I bet. And then what happened? Nobody died, right?
No, everything was still, I'm here. I'm still here today. Exactly what you said. Nobody died.
Nobody died. It's
No.
not emergency surgery. It's not what we do. So yeah, it's just understanding what it takes to truly disconnect and have people help you without feeling guilty, without feeling over controlling and all that. So it's not an easy thing to do. We've all
No.
been there. We've all worked more hours than we need. And there's a place and time for that. And as a business owner, there's the grind and the hustle in the beginning. And I think that's totally valuable to go through that.
Yeah.
And understand all the parts of your business. But then there's a time where you need to let that go and transition into being the true CEO of your company. And that means you're not the go-to person for everything. You don't hold the standards in your head. You actually have a team that you trust to support you. You understand what to delegate and what to keep. And, you understand that you have to change the way you think about your business. The next level of your business needs a different version of you.
Yeah. And there's probably so many of us that are so stuck in our ways that it's hard to break that up. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking high standards, human pace. Why do you think so many founders feel like success eventually starts just like consuming their life?
I think when we start our businesses, if you started this from the ground up, you put a lot of effort into it and
Hmm.
you're very invested, right? This is your baby. This is your reputation in the line. And you really truly believe that we see our value comes from being needed. That's the
Yeah.
tricky part there.
Yeah.
Like our identity is I'm the person that everybody goes to solve the problem.
Hmm.
I'm the one. So you start finding your own value and self-worth in the identity of a problem solver, of the doer, right? You hold the knowledge and you're the go-to person for everything. And that is a useful skill set to build a business, but it's also the same thing that is choking your capacity right now and your ability to grow your business. So I think there's this attachment of the self-worth and the value with the getting things done that usually is what catches us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because again, like going back to the cruise, when I was unplugging, I felt like, oh, are they going to make it or not? And they did, so we don't have to be that person that is solving all the problems. So, all right. So, Nata, you work with people who are already successful. So, what usually is actually broken when someone comes to you?
I think what a lot of people don't understand, like we all get the concept that yes, delegation is something useful. We should all do that. There's no rocket science. But then why, if we understand that, why don't we do it? Right.
Yeah.
So I think the mistakes that I see very often is people delegating a task instead of delegating ownership and outcome.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So
Yeah.
now asking somebody I want you to go and post 3 times a week on Instagram. You're just delegating a task.
Yeah.
But if you go into the actual, help people understand the outcome that you're looking for, what does that picture of done look like? And really giving them the ownership of the task, you get a completely different outcome. So now we're talking about all right, Kevin, we're going to post 3 times a week on Instagram. Our goal is we're launching a product at the end of August. So every single one of the posts are going to be connected to the product we're
Hmm.
launching. We're going to use the brand colors and the brand voice and all the images that we create within the brand. I want to make sure that the posts are all scheduled on a Monday, but they're given to me by Thursday the week before so I can review it if I need to. We're going to look at these X, Y, and Z metrics for KPIs. And at the end of the day, what we're looking for is movement towards people signing up for the launch of the
Yeah.
product.
Okay.
There's a whole
I
different
was gonna
thing that
say,
I just
well,
said,
that's
right?
I was like, that's two totally different things that you just said there. But
Exactly.
but it makes sense. Ownership is a big thing.
And a lot of times we were trying to delegate something, we're trying to share this load, and we are not sharing what the standards look like. What are the guardrails? What do I want you to actually, what are the guidelines for you to complete this task successfully? And what done means to me is different than what done maybe means to you. What I think is good is different than what you think is good. So
Yeah.
are these things well explained? Because a lot of times when I hear people say, well, I've tried to delegate, it didn't work out, most of the time the problem is us. We
Yeah.
didn't we didn't truly communicate what we wanted to be done, when we wanted to be done, how we wanted to be done, and what was the purpose behind it. Like when people understand the purpose, I don't care if you take X, Y, and Z roads to get there. The getting there is the purpose, right? So how you
Yeah.
got there doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Unless I'm micromanaging you, then
Well,
I'm gonna be paying attention to those details.
yeah, that's a good point.
So it's really understanding the true value of delegating properly and in what that actually brings to you. That's a whole other level that I think people miss very often.
Oh, and it makes sense because, it's you if you're delegating, I just want one thing done and you think you're helping, but they're not. Like the ownership, going back to that ownership, I think is really important. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, what does it look like, Nata, when a founder becomes held hostage by their business that they built?
Yeah. So that is that case where, if everything has to go through you for approval,
Okay.
for answering the questions, like you're holding all those standards in your own head. There is no SOPs created for people to follow when you're going on vacation and you have no cell signal because you're on a cruise. There is no way for people to actually make decisions and have the ownership of making decisions without you. If you have a decision making letter that is part of your company and your business, people understand that at this level, I can make a decision without having to go to Kevin. I don't
Yeah.
have to be constantly bugging him and be like, "Can I do this, Kevin?" Because I understand that there is a structure, there is an SOP to be followed, and I am allowed to make this decision on my own. So when you create the structure for people to be successful without you having to be part of everything, you start to create freedom for yourself and create that space for you to actually be the CEO of your company.
Yeah.
Because your CEO is not answering emails and sending contracts and getting Zoom links to people because they're too busy, looking at the vision and where the business is going, ideating for the business, making the connections and the collaborations that actually bring money into the business. So when you're trapped on doing those low level tasks, you're taking away your opportunity to do what you really are supposed to be doing, which is growing your business.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with so many of us in the wedding industry. We get so stuck in the mundane day-to-day
Yeah.
tasks instead of having, I need this, and this done, and like you said, delegating, and yeah, I'm stuck on the delegating and ownership. I keep,
Yeah.
it's very powerful. So anyway, so
Yeah, it is. And it's such a big difference when you see what the two outcomes are and you're like, "Oh, I get it now." Like
yeah,
that is why maybe I've tried in the past and didn't succeed because I was just delegating a task.
yeah. All right. So Nada, do you think like traditional business advice ever stops working? Like that thing that we've done day to day, always, do we get to a point in our business where that traditional stuff just stops?
I think there is a difference in what to focus on really. So
Okay.
I think a founder cannot be a CEO.
Oh,
So let's let that sink in,
okay.
right? A
Yeah.
founder cannot be a CEO. So a founder is again that person who is in the trenches of things. You're in a day to day. You're in the beginning. It's just you in the beginning a lot of times, right? Most of
Mm-hmm.
us start our company with just us. We're solopreneurs for a long time, and maybe we start, getting some contractors here and there to help us. Um, but that's the grind. That is the day to day of the business. And the habits that need to be created for you to become a true business owner and a CEO are different habits. Those are skill sets that are amazing in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? So understanding when it's time to transition, make it look in your schedule like you're the actual CEO. Is there dedicated time on your schedule for you to work on your business and not in your business? Because most of us are really good at working in our business.
Yeah. That's so true.
And we neglect working on our business. And really,
Mm-hmm.
that's how we grow. So if I'm spending all my time, if I'm looking at my schedule and it looks like a dumpster fire and everything in there is like me putting down fires and working on small tasks they come at you fast. Like if
Yeah.
you just pay attention to that, your time gets consumed very quickly. So I think understanding the difference between those is very important. And then creating that space for you to grow inside of your own company by dedicating that time to true CEO time. Like, are you picking up the phone and connecting with the important people that you need to be connecting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking the time to go visit that venue?
Mm-hmm.
Those people that are actually sending you clients all the time. What are the connections that are really worth you that nobody else can do? You cannot send your VA to go do that.
No.
You should be the one doing that. That is
Yeah.
true CEO work
It's true
there.
because I think
Mhm.
that's a biggest change. I think in the wedding industry is like a lot of us have VAs now, but they should be the ones doing the mundane tasks. While we're out doing, like you just said, the higher level connecting, developing relationships, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Want to do more than just listen to the conversation? We're always looking for wedding pros to join us as a guest on the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. If you have insight, experience, or lessons to share, we want you behind the mic. Apply to be a guest and come mind your business with us. All right. So you work at the intersection of mindset and operations. So
Yep.
why do both have to be addressed together?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I truly believe that you cannot do one without the other and expect really good growth at the end of the day. So if you come to me with a problem and I don't really look into the true cause of that problem, I might be trying to solve an identity problem with operations and systems. And if I'm building systems, operations, and then a foundation of an identity that's not going to change when it should change, then it's going to crumble. Like you're trying to build a house and a foundation that is not going to sustain it, because what's going to happen is you're going to be going back to the old habits of micromanaging everything. I have to jump into every task. I have to be the one that everybody goes to. I need to put my hands on everything. It's my reputation. I have to control it. And again, while those characteristics were helpful in the beginning to get us to where we are now, they no longer serve us going forward. They're just choking our capacity. They're just taking away our ability to grow. And then when I just come in and try to, just change your identity and work on mindset, but everything looks like a mess in the back end and you don't have a system to bring your clients through. There's no flow. There is no consistency in how you bring people in from an inquiry to a booking standpoint. That's not going to help you either. Right? So usually when people come to me, they usually bring in an operational or a system issue.
Okay.
Very few of us are self-aware of the identity gaps that we are dealing with. But the problem is whenever we are dealing with decision making in teams and the things that are really important in our business, that's when your identity problems really start showing up.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when they reveal themselves, because it's really easy to camouflage things. Like I can be overthinking and just call that being thorough. I can be micromanaging and controlling and just call that, being detail oriented. Like we're really good at masking these things. But whenever things really start to push, whenever we have that volume and a lot of things coming through from a work volume standpoint, that's when these identity things start to crack and really show up. So I believe that if you don't really at least investigate if there are both sides involved in the problem, then you're doing your client a disservice. You're just trying to fix one thing with the wrong fix.
Yeah, I keep going back to the whole time you were talking there. I keep thinking about the duct tape, what you said earlier with the duct tape. Everything's held together with a duct tape on the back end, but no one knows it.
It's amazing how many clients, the front face of things, you're like, man, these people really have a successful business. I work with people that make 6-7 figures and you're like, they got it. They figured it out. And then I get in the back end of things and I'm like, oh gosh. No, we need to create some structure here because this is about to crumble and crash and burn. And they're all like holding all the balls in the air and trying to still have a life and step away from going on vacation. So it's, we're duct taping things on the back end and nobody sees it until we just can't hold it all together anymore.
Yeah, so true. All right. So why or what are some signs a wedding pro has built a business that depends too heavily on them personally?
Yeah. First of all, is that inability to take that time off, right? You can't go on that vacation because if you cannot step away from your business for a week or two without things falling apart, you don't have a business. You have a job.
Yeah.
You did not build a business. That is not sustainable. If you're having to approve everything before it ships, right? Before it goes out to the public, you do not have good systems created to support you. If you are still the one doing everything after hours, or even if you try to delegate, you're like, I'm delegating, but then you go behind your back and you take that task back.
Yeah.
Or you're like, let me
do it for them before they even get a chance to do it. Or Yeah.
And if you're finding yourself saying things like, oh, it's just faster if I do it.
Yeah.
Or nobody's going to care as much as I do.
Nobody can do it the way I do it.
Yeah, nobody can do it the way I do it. Yeah. Really? Are you the best at sending emails? Or grabbing that Zoom link? Are you?
No.
Or can your skill be used in a better way in a different part of your company? So whenever we see, we hear ourselves repeating things and kind of thriving on that feeling of being needed all the time, that's probably a red flag there.
Yeah. All right. So how do high standards unintentionally turn into burnout or over control?
Yeah, I think again, when everything is centered on being dependent on you, right? So
Okay.
it's very easy for us to understand that overworking and overcommitting and things like that can lead to burnout. But whenever you are not communicating to your team and the people that are helping you, what are you looking for? How things should be done? What are the values? What are the standards that you are looking for? That's when everything keeps coming back to you, right? You're not sharing the load with everybody else. You're still carrying everything on your own.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
That's when you started to look at whenever there's a growth opportunity, your business is growing. And instead of feeling excited about it, you start feeling anxious
Um,
because with more opportunities come more responsibilities. With more money comes more risks. With
yeah.
more people having eyes on my business comes more opportunities for me to make a mistake. And out of the sudden, instead of being excited about the growth that you're seeing ahead of you, you're starting to feel unsafe. And this thing that you've wanted for so long, that you've been working so hard for, doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's usually what is behind that.
That's too bad. No
Yeah.
matter how, if you think about it, it really is too bad.
It
So,
really is. There's a lot of stories that we tell ourselves that are really not true, especially when it comes to delegation. Like some of the things that I mentioned early, like well, it's faster if I just do it.
yeah.
Sure, it's faster at the moment, but every time you don't take the time to teach somebody how to do that task properly, you're robbing yourself of time in the future to be able to do
Yeah.
things for your business, right? You're taking away somebody's opportunity to shine, to learn something new and support you in the
Yeah.
future.
And their
The
value too. They probably don't feel valued at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would
Yeah.
you feel if your boss
Yeah.
came after you every single time and redid the work that you did?
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
even put an effort next time they
No.
ask,
Yeah. You probably don't.
right?
Yeah.
You
Me-
don't. Then that, "Oh, they don't care as much as I do," comes around and be like, "Well, you don't let them care because 'cause you're just controlling everything all the time.
Yeah.
You're
It's
not
so true.
sharing that, the ownership." And then the other thing I hear very often from people is "Well, I don't have money to delegate right now. I'll delegate when I have money."
Yeah. And that,
That's a huge trap.
yeah. And that's such a bunch of BS. So,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're waiting for wealth before you start delegating, you have it backwards.
hmm
Delegating is going to free up your time to go make that money, right? If
hmm
you truly look at your cost of doing business, if you've calculated your cost of doing business and you know how much your own time costs every time that you serve a client. So let's say every time somebody comes to me for coaching, there's an X amount of dollars per hour, right?
yeah.
That I'm going to be
Yeah.
charging them. Well, if I'm sitting here on my computer spending my hours, 10 hours a week, answering emails that don't need to be answered, that could be automated, or, sending contracts to people or following up on things that I don't need to, I am costing my business that amount of money. Let's say it's $100 an hour
Yeah.
because we're not cheap at this point
No.
in our
Yeah.
business, right?
No,
We
true.
cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you are spending more money you're costing more money to your business than you'll ever pay an assistant to take those tasks off your plate. And you don't see it because it's not coming out of your account every month, but it is not coming in your account every month because you're not giving yourself the opportunity to go work through on that professional development, go make those connections that are actually going to bring money to your business. So you cost more money to your business than you ever will spend on somebody assisting you.
And I don't think true business owners really understand that. Like they really are costing themselves money, and,
Yeah.
and they get in. I think a lot of business owners get in the way of their business, and so it just and I think once people get that and understand that, that's probably when their business really starts to take off. So
Yeah, absolutely. And truly, like once you do that, once you get a little taste of
yeah,
delegating and
yeah,
having that free time, oh my gosh, it is amazing what it does. You like, what do you mean? I don't even know what to do with this time now. Like,
yeah,
I can actually go and finish that course that I bought last year that I never had the time to go through. That is actually going to give me the skills to take my business to the next level. Or I actually have energy now to go to that networking event because I've been missing that because I'm exhausted at the end of the day. I don't want to go and talk to people. But going and networking and talking to those people is actually what is going to create the opportunity
for more work,
for your business, for more work, right? So there's so many opportunities and so many things that change when you get that little taste of delegating and you see what it can do.
And even showing up to those networking events continues to develop relationships. And I think a lot of what we do is relationship driven in the wedding industry. So you gotta, I like that you get the little taste and then all of a sudden it changes.
Yes.
So, all right. Now, what's the difference between excellence and perfectionism in a business?
Oh, yes. That's a good trap.
Sorry.
I think in the wedding industry, we probably see a lot of perfectionists out there. It's a visual thing, right? There's a beauty in the visual aspect to the industry. And I started in the wedding business as a photographer, and I still have 2 photo and video businesses, and totally understand that. But it's, oh my gosh, can be such a trap and just drain the life out of you. Like we cannot aim for perfection. It's just not sustainable, right? Looking for the excellence is when you're really putting the effort into, to me, is the relationship and the experience that you bring to your client versus trying to make everything perfect. Will I aim for things to go well and everything? Yes, absolutely. I'm not trying to be sloppy, but I think putting your energy into making sure everything is perfect is actually at the end of the day doing a disservice to you and your client, because it's just going to drain. It's going to drain you. It's going to take everything you can and is never going to be good enough. And you'll be constantly going after this unattainable perfection, right? And what for?
Yeah.
What is the end point of it? Like if it's, my clients want everything perfect, we have to understand that what we see and what our clients see are 2 different things.
No,
right?
that's so true.
We understand a whole different level of, and I'm not saying again that you shouldn't try to do things the best you can and do them well. Like as a photographer, I want to make sure that people have amazing photos. Do I try to make sure every single photo that I take is perfect? I can't. I'm dealing with humans. I'm dealing with things that are out of my control.
Yeah.
I'm trying to capture a true, authentic moment for them to remember what happened. And that to me is excellence versus fabricating something that, looks like perfection.
Yeah. Well, and it just, that's part of it. I remember some of the most memorable photos I have of a kid growing up, or something silly happened in them, or someone had their eyes, just whatever it was, whatever the term was, it just, those were, I remember that moment, or I remember when that happened. And you go.
Yeah, I think if we focus on experience more than, that visual perfection of things, we're just giving so much more to our clients. Help them remember how they feel. That's so important. Like as a photographer, this always blows people's minds. I get reviews from my couples before they even see their photos.
Wow.
They're
amazing.
They're going on Google and letting everybody know how amazing it is to work with us.
Yeah.
And how we made them feel.
Yeah.
And what kind of environment we created to them. They're not even talking about the photos.
Yeah.
That is not even in their minds.
No.
And that's what I want everybody else to read.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So what operational issues tend to create the most stress or like bottleneck for founders?
I feel like when people don't have a good flow of moving their clients through their business, right?
Okay.
So a lot of times there's too many manual pieces of things that you have to do. There's no automations and no systems to help you do things in a nice and smooth way. So, for clients in the wedding industry, there's people will go to your website. How easy is that experience in your website? Can they find what they want very easily and right away? Can they get in touch with you? How fast are you responding? Are you waiting too long? You just had a recent guest on your podcast talk about the importance of answering fast. There's plus 85% plus of people will hire somebody who answers them first.
Yeah.
Do you have a system in place? to be that first person to answer, because this is just how our brain works. If you are the first person to answer, you become the anchor to where everybody else gets compared to that first. Think about when you get quotes from people to
I
do
do.
work
Now
in
that
your
you
house.
say that,
That's how it works. That's how our brain does. So if you're getting quotes from people to build something in your house, then that first person sets the anchor.
Yeah.
And then everybody else gets compared to that. And it doesn't mean they're going to hire you necessarily, but you become the reference point. And when you become the reference point, you're more likely to be.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably percentage is way higher.
Exactly. So making sure that you have a good system, flow automations to move people through your business. Are they getting information on the points, the time points that are important for them to get information from you? Are you anticipating any worries or anxieties or questions they might have to show your expertise? Are you setting those boundaries? Are you communicating often? And is there an offboarding process too? So I think a lot of times people don't see the importance of having those very specific steps in place. But on top of that, having things that are automated. So you don't have to be manually moving people through your world, step by step.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. So,
want to share your expertise with the wedding industry? Wedding IQ is written by wedding pros for wedding pros, bringing real insight, education, and experience to the forefront. If you have something to say and a passion for helping others grow, we'd love to feature your voice on the blog. Head to weddingiq.com to learn more about becoming a contributor.
All right. So how can someone maintain quality and strong client experience without constantly operating at like a maximum capacity,
Yeah. I have a good friend that says that you can do everything. You just can't do everything by yourself. And all at once.
That's such good advice.
So understanding that when you're giving 100%, at all times, you're going to get depleted from your energy. Somebody's going to suffer. If it's not your clients, it's your family and your personal life, right? So somebody's going to be missing something because we just can't function at that level at all times. So understanding where is important to have your focused on, and then where, again, we can share the load with somebody else is the best way to keep that high quality and high standards without letting things suffer. So, and we can start small. I'm not telling you go out and hire somebody full time right away. Like that is not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you, start trying to delegate some tasks and see how that feels and see how much time that free up and what are the possibilities that brings into you growing your business. And there are things that are fairly easy for us to understand that we should delegate. A lot of us are not accountants and don't love numbers in the creative industry. I'm a weird one that likes numbers and business stuff and data, but most creatives don't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be doing your own taxes. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, or your website. A lot of people in the wedding industry do their own website. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it should be a CPA out there that is taking care of things for you. And so it's very easily for us to understand that whenever I don't have that skill set that I should delegate, but it's when we can do things that we have trouble delegating. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And just because a task requires a brain, it doesn't mean it requires your brain, right? It just needs another person. So I think really trying to understand what requires your effort and your energy and your dedication and really focus on those things really help us to not crash and burn and just be able to serve our clients long term.
Well, and so many of us in the wedding industry hate the words DIY. That's such a bad word in the wedding industry.
And then you do it in your business.
100%. I go, but so many, there's such a big percentage of us that DIY everything in our business, but yet the minute one of the clients DIY something, oh my God, I can't believe they did, it's just
such hypocrites we are.
We really are. And so that's where I think we need to take that mindset and, apply it to our business. So,
and again, there's a time and place for things like that. Like in the beginning, obviously, if you're starting
100%.
a business
Yes.
and there's
Yeah.
no capital, I
Yeah.
get it. I did my own
Yeah.
website in the beginning too. We all do it, like you
Yeah.
said, right? But then at some point you start making money and you're like, okay, I need to hire an actual professional to do this because this is outside of my scope of practice and my skills. And, I truly believe that you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
And the more you invest in support and people that actually know what they're doing, the better you're going to look, for your clients and the better service you're going to be able to provide, because now you're not trying to, split your attention into 10 different things.
Yeah. 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 You're not squirrel. That's what I always say. Squirrel.
Yep. Squirrel.
Looking all over the place. So, all right. So speaking of mindset, patterns here. So what are some mindset patterns that keep people stuck in like overwork and even when they're successful, but they're still overworked?
Yeah. So one of the things is some of the things I mentioned earlier, so that you're thinking that if you are sharing the load with a team or, somebody else assisting you, that you are losing control of things. Like you're giving away control of things. There's a really good quote by Elizabeth Gilbert that says, "You were afraid of surrender because you didn't want to lose control, but you never had control. All you had was anxiety."
Oh, how funny. Yeah, that's a good
And
quote.
that is so true, right?
Yeah.
We think we're controlling things by just holding it all, on our own heads and our own schedules. But at the end of the day, you're not losing control if you're properly delegating and sharing the load with a team. So understanding that you're not giving control, that you're actually sharing the load, and that as a human, we're not made to do it all by ourselves. Like we're made to share that load.
Yeah.
But understanding, who you bring onto your team and how do you onboard them, how do you train them, all of that is important, and all that's going to affect the outcome, right? So taking the time to really do it right, so you don't feel like you're losing control. So there is a structure to how you transition into sharing that load. So I think that's one of the mindsets that I encounter very often. The other one is, that nobody can do it as well as I can.
Yeah.
I said that out loud myself.
No.
I remember very clearly in my mind saying that to my own business coach at some point and be like, but nobody can do this. Like I know my company better than anybody. And she's like, sure.
Yeah.
And now I'm here telling you that is a lie.
Yeah.
That is not true. Again, you can train people well if you really take the time to do that. And really understand how to share the load of growing this business is not something that we should be doing alone. At the end of the day, just shifting your identity from that operator to being a true CEO is what you need to get to that next level. At some point, you're going to hit a ceiling and you're not going to understand why.
Yeah.
And all the things that you've been doing so far that got you to this point are not going to work anymore. And you're going to be stunned, like, why am I not growing anymore? What's happening? And you're going to find out that you want to make more money, but you're at capacity. There is no more hours in my day that I can put in to make more money.
Yeah.
But I want to make more money. So how do I do that?
Yeah.
And that's when those things come in.
Yeah. And then they probably spiral out of control and it gets worse. So, all right. So let's talk about being healthy. So what does a healthy, sustainable pace actually look like for high performing business owners?
Yeah. So I'm going to give that answer that everybody hates. It depends, right? For everybody.
No,
and I'm going to say that.
No, but
because,
I think that's a good answer though. I mean, because it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah. And I'm going to say that because I'm somebody who always hated when other people imposed their own limitations on me, right? Whenever I was so like, oh, you're doing too much. Like, that is just too much. I'm like, I can handle a lot and that's okay. The difference is, should you, right? And are you really handling, or you're just over functioning and not realizing, right? Because a lot of us tend to over function.
I was going to say a lot of us probably in the wedding industry do that.
Yeah. So being very honest with yourself, I think doing an audit task is a great thing to do. I take a lot of my clients through that, where we just audit your tasks for a whole week or two, make a list of everything and then help you understand what to keep, what to automate, what to delegate, and what to eliminate. is when you really realize how much you're actually doing, right? So I think protecting some of that time for yourself or for your family, if you have a family, it's important. I have 2 girls, and they are amazing and very smart. I actually interviewed them on my podcast.
Oh, I've had my
Um,
daughter on my podcast.
yeah, because I know a lot of us, especially women
Yeah.
and, who are business owners, we have this self-imposed guilt, right? The mom guilt of like owning a business and having kids, and how do I split my time, and how do I make sure that this is balanced? There is no balance, guys. There
No.
is no balance. Let me tell you that right now.
No.
But, there's a lot of things like that if you don't take the time to be honest with yourself and understand, that you get into this trap that, well, I just have to get it done, and you ended up over functioning. So I'm not going to sit here and say you should only work 4 hours a day, because that might not be what you need for your business. I think what you should do is have dedicated time for business growth, to be a CEO and work on your business. How many total hours that is in your work week at the end of the
gonna
day,
depend.
it's up to you and
Yeah.
it works for you, but you should have dedicated time because that adds to the health of your business, to your personal health, because now you're actually using your mind in a way that is exciting and that brings that passion back of that business that you loved so much, and now it's just drowning you, right? You like out of the sudden you're questioning, should I really be doing this? Do I want to continue to doing this for
Yeah.
another
I'm
10 years,
burnt
right?
out, all the above. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, taking time to go outside and do whatever kind of exercise is good for you is amazing. I go through phases of that, do different things. I was a professional athlete, so I got paid to exercise for part of
Yeah.
my life. So
It's
now
not a bad
paying to go
gig.
to the gym sounds crazy to me. Like, what do you mean I have to pay you to exercise? You should be paying me to exercise. So I think just, I'm not going to tell you an X amount of hours a week is healthy. I think what is healthy is to dedicate some time for some thinking and growing, and personal growth and development and business development and then working in your business as well.
Yeah, I think that's some of the greatest advice you're probably going to give anybody listening to this podcast right now is focus on the business growth, that is, I think, so important, because I think so many of us in the wedding industry don't focus on that at all. So I think that's great advice. All right. So we're coming up to the end here. And
Yeah.
Your mic drop moment is for someone listening who feels successful but exhausted. What is the first thing they should evaluate or change?
I think the first thing that is important is for them to understand that rest doesn't have to be earned.
Mm,
The rest should be part of your business strategy. It
I
should be
love that.
built in there, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think once we start understanding that, and once you start understanding that we are going to grow even faster when we're supported,
Mm-hmm.
I think those 2 things are huge mindset changes, because I can give you all the systems and operations help that you might want. At the end of the day, if you're not working on how you're thinking and how you're showing up as a business owner, it's not going to stick, right? Things are not going to, they're going to break down. So understand that rest doesn't have to be earned. It is something that's already, you got it. You deserve it.
Yes.
Built it into it, and that you should be supported to grow.
That's a good mic drop moment. I love it. That was, yeah. And I wasn't expecting rest. So that was really good. So,
Good.
all right, Nata, where can our listeners learn more about you or connect with you?
Yeah, so accidentalceo.co is my website. Same thing for Instagram. I'll be sharing something with you guys. So we're going to put it on the show notes for you, which is a identity shift guide that kind of helps you identify where those patterns are keeping you stuck.
Oh, I love that.
So go ahead and download that, work through it. It's going to really help you see maybe where to focus some of that CEO time when you carve it into your schedule.
All right. And we'll have all of Nata's information that she just spoke about. We'll have that in the show notes, as well as the email blast that goes out, and we'll make it really easy and accessible for you as well. So I can't thank you enough. You gave a lot of great information for the listeners. I learned a little bit here that, yeah, you're right. sometimes it does look like, everything's being held by duct tape in the back of this.
Yep.
and I'm not alone by that. So every once in a while.
You are not.
No, but anyway. So, all right. I can't thank you enough. And folks, thank you for listening to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business, brought to you by Wedding IQ. If you've got a topic you'd love to hear us cover, or if there's an area of your business you're struggling with, let us know and we'd be happy to help. Don't forget to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and left a review. It helps more wedding pros find us and learn more from our guests too. Thanks again for listening to Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll catch you next time.